Teen Minds Redefined. You're listening to the podcast with Cheryl Pankhurst.
Welcome back to another episode of Teen Minds Redefined, the podcast where we redefine how we are supporting our teenagers as they navigate high school and beyond. I'm your host, Cheryl Pankhurst, and today we're going to explore a topic that's really close to my heart, the helicopter parent. I am very passionate about this and the importance of being aware of the significant impact it has on our kids. Now, I don't want to assume everyone has heard this term, so let me elaborate for some clarification. A helicopter parent is a term used to describe a style of parenting characterized by excessive involvement, control, and constant monitoring of a child's life, especially as the child progresses through their teenage years and early adulthood. Helicopter parents tend to hover over their children, often to an extreme degree, in an attempt to ensure their safety, success, and well-being. They may involve themselves in every aspect of their child's life, from academics and extracurricular activities to social interactions and decision-making. The term helicopter parent is believed to have originated in the 1960s. Dr. Haim Junot, a noted child psychologist and psychotherapist, is often credited with coining the phrase. He used it to describe parents who hover like helicopters over their children, constantly watching and intervening in their lives. The concept gained wider recognition in the 1990s, and the term has since become a widely recognized way of describing a parenting style that, while well-intentioned, can sometimes have unintended negative consequences for a child's development, independence, and resilience. So, I've created a list of maybe some telltale signs that you might be a helicopter parent, and always assuming it's with good intentions. Remember that this is high school and teenagers that we're talking about. So, let's start with, do you insist on meetings without your kid and not sharing that you are meeting and what you will be sharing and discussing? Do you email without consenting your kid or collaborating with them? Now, always remember there are some exceptions. Do you micromanage the homework? Checking, correcting, maybe even completing assignments, leaving very little room for autonomy? Are you trying to control the friend group? Are you making judgments without any validation? Deciding who can and can't be in their social group based on your biased opinion? Can you imagine the seeds that you're planting when you make judgments without information? Can you list anyone you hang out with that your kid isn't fond of? I probably can. Are you in constant communication? Are you bombarding your kid with calls and texts through the school day, seeking whereabouts, assignments, or how did the test go? This is wrong on so many levels. Teaching your young adult that they should be accessible 24 hours a day exudes mistrust. And unless you have a strong basis or they have clearly crossed boundaries, this is excessive. School is for school, and distractions on a phone goes against everything teachers battle every day, all day. If there's an emergency, you can call the school main office. Full stop. Are you getting over-involved in the extracurriculars? I agree it's so important for kids to be connected in extracurriculars, but we have to be sensitive to A, their capacity after doing school all day, and their interests, not your interests. Their interests and skills in sports and activities. Remember, these are not always passed down genetically. Decision-making, from clothes to hair, etc. As long as we're keeping the school code of conduct in mind. Allowing your kids to express themselves as unique individuals and feeling confident in this is so important. Self-expression breeds confidence and leadership. You don't want a follower. If you need to choose a hill to die on, don't let this be it. What about choosing courses? Again, your interests and skills are not necessarily passed down. And I've had more conversations than I care to count where parents have said, and I quote, They have to do the highest level of course. They have to get 90s. They have to go to university. We want to provide our kids with every opportunity and raise the bar just enough that it's obtainable for them. If you didn't get a chance to do what you truly wanted to do, set a different example and go do it. Just don't push it on them. You and they will regret it at some point. So, problem solving. The fix-it parent. We all know the fix-it parent. We have to allow our kids the opportunity to fail. I have 2 grown-ass adult kids, and I know from experience how crushing it can be to see your kid fail or get hurt or get their heart broken. But by trying to fix it for them or brush it off has an impact on their resilience skills. I would just keep telling myself and them, we're building character, and then I would go cry quietly into my own pillow. We create kids who do not know how to recover when we continually fix it. I'm talking about teenagers here, but this means even the very small, seemingly insignificant failures. They need to know they have what it takes to recover from the start, because one day there will be a big one, a heartbreak, a death, a loss of a job. And the skills they learn from the smaller losses will build the resilience of the inevitable big ones. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. I have seen many young adults spiral into depression, self-harm, or self-medicate because they have no past experience of failure to draw on, to prove they've done this before and they can rebound and they can grow. The kids will always go back to making the same mistakes and experiences because you didn't allow them to reflect and learn what they needed to learn from that lesson and grow from it. But, and hear me here, the most important thing I think you need to remember is that our kids will soon learn that we, parents, have no faith in them and their ability to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and get back in the ring. Overprotectiveness or lack of privacy. Unless you again have evidence of harm, allow them their privacy. Presume that they are doing the right things, making the right choices, until they aren't. Don't make them afraid to keep a journal because you might snoop. Encourage it. Buy them one with a key. Ask permission to check something you're concerned about. Let them know and include them in emails or conversations with teachers in sharing information about them. What about difficulty letting go? Choosing university, college, or a trade, or seeking something completely out of the box. All of this is with your support, but their decision. Look at their strengths. Look what lights them up before they make these decisions and before you help them make these decisions. If residency or living outside of the home is affordable, encourage it. Instill in them that you have complete faith that they can handle it. And if something goes off the rail, you have their back to support them, advise them, and listen, but not take over. I have been an educator for many years, and I've seen the impact that helicopter parenting can have on teenagers, specifically in the classroom. And while parents may believe they're helping, it can lead to some very unintended consequences. Kids can learn way too much dependence on parents. While parents may believe they're helping, it can lead to some unintended consequences. Teenagers who have had every problem solved for them can become overly dependent on their parents. They may struggle with self-reliance, which can hinder their academic progress. They have inadequate problem solvings in the classroom. In parent-teacher conferences, I've often seen the helicopter parent who dominates the conversation. They may not give their teens the chance to articulate their concerns or problem-solving approaches. This can be detrimental to a student's development of these crucial skills. They then experience interpersonal challenges. Helicopter parents may inadvertently hinder a teenager's ability to collaborate and work with peers. This can become problematic when students are expected to work on a group project or team activities. They experience stress and anxiety. The pressure imposed by helicopter parents can lead to increased stress and anxiety among the teenagers. Rebellion. In some cases, students rebel against their parents' tight grip when they reach a certain age. This rebellion can lead to more significant issues such as academic disengagement and risky behavior. So now that we've heard what it means to be a helicopter parent, let's switch gears and explore how you can support your teenager without hovering. Here's just some ideas that promote independence and growth. Open communication. Foster an environment where your teen feels comfortable sharing their thoughts, feelings, and concerns. You can tell them, you can tell me anything, and then look angry or disappointed when they do. They will quickly learn that they can't count on that. Respect their interests. Allow them to explore their passions and interests, even if they differ from yours. Encourage their own problem-solving skills. Instead of solving their problems, guide them through the process. Enable them to make their own decisions. Promote their own responsibility. Encourage them to take on responsibilities at home. Let them have a part-time job. Empower self-advocacy. Teach them to speak up for themselves and their own needs. This skill is vital to start fostering as soon as possible. And it's imperative, especially when your kid has any type of learning disability, mental health challenge. Together, you can go over their education plan if they have one. Talk to them about their right to accommodations, how to request them, what to do if they're not receiving them. High school kids should not only know they have an IEP, they should know exactly what's on there and have a copy with them. Prepare them for independence. Help them with the college preparations, but don't do it all for them. Help them with their after-school, post-secondary opportunities, but don't do it for them. Respect their boundaries. Give them space, both physically and emotionally, and respect their privacy. Celebrate their achievements and acknowledge and celebrate their accomplishments, no matter how small they seem. As often as possible, catch them doing well. Look for it. Respond to it. Encouraging them to be proud of themselves, along with you being proud of them. Encourage growth. Understand that making mistakes is a part of growing up and offer support rather than criticism. Remember that being a supportive and engaged parent doesn't mean being a helicopter parent. It means you're there for your teen as they navigate the difficult pathway of adolescence. Allow them the space they need to develop into independent, resilient, and confident individuals. It's clear that while parents may believe they're acting out of love, hovering too closely can have adverse effects on your teenagers. It's essential for parents to find the right balance to being supportive and engaged without being overbearing. A collaborative and understanding relationship between parents, teachers, and teenagers is key to fostering an environment where adolescents can thrive academically and emotionally. I've often seen teens flourish when they feel empowered to make their own decisions, when they have room to learn from their mistakes, and when they know that parents are there to support and guide them. As we conclude this episode, I'm hoping you, our listeners, understand the importance of striking the balance between support and independence for their teenagers. We're all in this together, creating a brighter future for our next generation. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the positive impact in collaborative and supporting parenting, as opposed to suffocating helicopter approach. When parents strike a harmonious balance between being present and being overly controlling, something truly magical happens. Independence and confidence. Teenagers thrive when they're allowed to make decisions and learn from their mistakes. This nurtures a sense of independence and self-confidence that's crucial for their future success. Open lines of communication between parents and teens and teachers can foster trust, understanding, and empathy. This not only strengthens the parent-child bond, but equips your teen with valuable life skills. Allow teenagers to confront challenges and setbacks head-on, preparing them for the world. They learn to adapt, persevere, and develop essential problem-solving skills. Teens have the opportunity to explore their interests, passions, and identities, leading to a better understanding of who they are and what they want to become. Collaboration between teachers and parents and teenagers creates an ecosystem where young minds can flourish, unburdened by excessive control and nurtured by unwavering support. And it's our role as parents, educators, and mentors to be their guiding stars rather than controlling their path. As we wrap up today's episode, I hope you'll carry with you the insights I wanted to share to redefine your relationship with your teenager. Thank you for listening and for joining me on this heartfelt exploration. Let's continue to inspire, empower, and support the incredible young minds in our lives. Thanks again for listening to Teen Minds Redefined.
Teen Minds Redefined with Cheryl Pankhurst. New episodes out every Wednesday. Thanks for stopping by.